Welcome aboard, folks, and welcome back to my regular viewers. My name is Rod. I'm a pilot with one of our nation's leading legacy carriers here in America. And in today's video, we're going to talk about the second pillar of what makes a great pilot. In the first video, we did talk about what is the cornerstone, the most important aspect that I consider for somebody to be a great pilot. Now, once you have selected those individuals with the right aptitude and the attitude to get the job done, you must transform them from regular civilians to either civilian aviators or military aviators. But in this process, there has to be a bridge that connects the two, transforming somebody into an aviator. It is not exactly normal. Though we do operate in a 3D environment, we're not constantly judging while our own bodies are moving in a vertical axis, right? We're not birds. Well, when you will learn to fly an airplane, that is effectively what you will be doing. So you need to learn how to master that third dimension really, really well. So get this. In today's America, we have many commercial airliners that are 20 or 30 or even 40 years old. Now, despite their age, our skies today are much safer. How come that is? The key to safety is pilot training. That is the biggest difference. Now, there have been many things that have improved over the past several decades, right? Additional computer software, additional reliability of the mechanical components of the aircraft, the maintenance programs in particular, how aggressive we are about proactively replacing parts before they break, right? The whole preventive maintenance process. Those are all key components of increasing the overall safety margin. However, by far, not even close to the number one, is pilot training. That is the reason why we're safer today than we have ever been. For you to have an idea of the level of safety, let me give you this. It's a common saying like, if, something happens, 1 in a million type of thing as being a rare event, right? If it were to happen, it's just 1 in a million. Well, if we were to have only one accident per million flights in the United States alone today, we would have several major commercial aviation accidents per year. So that's the level of reliability that we're talking about. We have to take it to the next level. 1 in a million just doesn't cut it. It's not good enough on a national level. It's definitely not good enough on a personal level. So that's the mission. It's a difficult task to accomplish. Pilot training has to be highly structured and safe. And right from the get-go, that is all built into the overall program and the curriculum from the start all the way to the ATP, or the Airline Transport Pilot License, which is the highest license within the civilian world curriculum, so to speak, in the whole program. The FAA is the Federal Aviation Administration, and it is the governmental body that is responsible for both ensuring the safety of aviation as well as promoting aviation. So obviously an extremely difficult and challenging job that they are responsible to accomplish. As the individuals rank through the different licenses, there is an overall increase in the expectations, criterias, requirements, and overall quality of the pilot goes up as you rank through. You've accrued more experience, you know more things that you have retained from your previous licenses, and you're gaining more experience. So the tests get tougher, they get longer. In aviation, there is the airline pilot career in particular is very unique. There is a theoretical and a practical side to flying alone. And then there is a university component of it, which basically all pilots within the majors do have. Within the flight certification standpoint, to acquire your licenses, you have your theoretical tests and exams that you need to take and pass. And then you have all the flights that you do with your instructors. But then on the day of what's called the check ride, the big test, you have to demonstrate those procedures in the aircraft, as well as having what's called an oral exam, where you sit down with an examiner and you go through the entire spectrum of that license as far as theoretical knowledge that it encompasses. And it can take anywhere from 4 to 6 hours as you rank up into the bigger licenses. So definitely a tremendous task to accomplish as you climb through the ranks. Now, I do want to make a parenthesis here just to give you an idea about the full scope of the career as a whole, right? As you acquire ATP, when you're starting out and the ATP is very far away, and in reality it is, you got to climb Mount Everest to get there. In fact, getting to the ATP is just the beginning. It's just the first step. That ATP license, which is a license that gives you the federal privilege, not a right. It is a privilege that you have to earn through all these steps in order to operate commercial airliners, will get you to flying small regional jet aircraft. Mind you, guys have been doing this for a long time, maybe 20 or 30 or even 40 years, have accrued 20 or 30,000 flight hours. So the 1,000 or so flight hours that you accrue in the beginning to acquire your license and get to that point is truly just the first step. The experience that you will gain beyond that step in your career is what will truly form you as a professional aviator in today's world. Now, back a little bit about the training in particular. So I personally love training, which is not normal. I don't think most people enjoy training as much as I do. I just enjoy getting that shoe shine, really presidential shine, you know what I mean? So having thorough confidence and knowledge and being comfortable in performing all of the procedures, I enjoy the flight training environment. But flight training has changed a lot over the years, as you would imagine, because of our increase in safety. Today's flight environment is extremely busy. You're flying, the skies can be very busy, so there are many airplanes near you. And you're flying into airports that are having one airplane landing every 60 seconds and taking off every 60 seconds. And that level of reliability and precision, in addition to being a teamwork environment, does require very robust systems and implementations within the cockpit and air traffic control in order to make all of this possible. So a lot of training today goes into the managerial aspect of the aircraft's systems and onboard computers that allow for that level of reliability that was not possible in the past. The computers weren't there to make it happen, and there were very few airplanes relative to today. So because of the changing nature of aviation, very dynamic and fluid. I mean, just look in the recent past, the absolute crazy amount of change that we have experienced due to the volatility of the industry itself. The safety programs and pilot training has to be extremely dynamic. As a consequence, over the years, it's become heavily data-driven. Statistical significance that indicate that there are variables that are trending in the wrong direction. So there are many layers there that have to occur. You have to have a system in place, be aware of the variable, be able to track it, know it's going in the wrong direction. And then once you know that that is heading in the wrong direction, you create either a program or awareness or some kind of module or course to address that potential weakness, and then do it in a timely manner so as to not create any further problems. That it does happen today in the private sector as well as in the public or FAA sector. We are adapting programs on the basis of the needs of the civilian world aviation in order to mitigate any accidents, of course. And obviously, there's something that has to be mentioned about the incredible amount of knowledge and wisdom that has been transferred through the generations over the decades, right? We're talking about millions of flight hours. That's a lot of flight hours. And all of these very highly experienced aviators get to fly with, the brand new guys coming in and gals coming into the flight deck, and then get to teach them a lot of what they have learned. Additionally, as well, we do have thousands of pages of manuals that are written by those individuals with experience and knowledge, and that is both applicable to the company as well as in the FAA and in the books and in the training programs. So there's a lot of knowledge that we have gathered over the decades as a people, as a whole, regarding this very complex subject. Now, I've also been a flight instructor for many years. I've taught basic students, instrument students, multi-commercial students, airplanes with 1 engine, 2 engines, beginning for fun, career professionals. I've taught the whole range of students, and I do myself enjoy thoroughly being a student in this whole process. Now, that is not common. I do happen to really like it. Probably because, as well, I grew up with flight simulators. I grew up playing flight simulators, and when we call it the box, the really expensive, we call them level Ds, which is the simulators that are on hydraulic arms and the whole box moves. Those are fantastic. They're amazing computers, and I really enjoy flying them. There are 2 main points that I like to bring to the table when I'm thinking about the overall training process. Number 1, in the aviation field, that which you do not know can in fact kill you, which is a problem. So, whenever I am studying, I am acquiring the knowledge, having the awareness that in the future, in live operations, it is extremely likely that the overall safety of flight may in fact depend on my capacity to recall this knowledge. Now, you can't remember everything that you read, but you could definitely try, and you can get really good at it, particularly as you review complex information. Just keep going back at it, keep attacking it, and your brain will keep expanding how much of that knowledge it can retain. The more you attack it, the more you can retain. Even if it's wildly complex, just keep studying it and keep learning it. That's key point number 1. Key point number 2 is that no matter how challenging the training gets, it is my opinion that it'll never be as challenging as a real world bad situation emergency where you're at the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong crew, right? As a captain, I have had the opportunity and in fact privilege of being a captain of over 2,000 Part 121 scheduled passenger transport flights. And I always have this very fresh in my mind, which is the potential for a serious emergency out there with a brand new crew could pose a much greater challenge than any training environment could. So let me give you this scenario. I use this scenario for myself as a mental readiness, kind of alertness, so to speak, when engaging in challenging training environment, right? Picture this. You are the captain. You have a brand new first officer. They're great, but they're brand new. The crew is brand new as well. Again, I've been in this position. You're coming in, your destination is surrounded by mountains. Normal ops. It's nighttime. And there's a line of thunderstorms. The weather is really not good. There's turbulence. This is a live event, right? Your cockpit is shaking. It doesn't have to be severe. It's just there's turbulence. There are a line of thunderstorms. You need to get around them. Your arrival procedure into the airport is of a far higher level, far greater level of complexity as a byproduct of the topography of the terrain, right? The mountains will cause an increase in complexity. Additionally, on top of that, when you're operating into an airport that is around mountains, it is most likely high elevation. With the high elevation, you have very stringent single-engine performance procedures that you may have to perform depending on your weight, elevation. It gets complicated really fast, but there's a good chance that though, should you lose an engine, the single-engine procedures will become very complicated. So here you are coming in and you have the situation that you're dealing with. It's nighttime. There's rain, thunderstorms, mountains, new crew, and an engine catches on fire. Right then and there, the lives of everybody on board that aircraft are in fact in your hands. What are you going to do? That is the standard to which I train, I focus, and I practice, and that is what I call upon you to do as well. That's the objective, right? So we have a saying that we don't hire first officers, we hire captains, because every first officer will be a captain. And that's the attitude. That's what you got to do. Folks, this is it, right? I hope you've enjoyed it. Flight training is perhaps a little bit of a dry subject to a lot of people. I personally have always loved it. I love the technical. I love the nuanced. I love the complex stuff. I thoroughly enjoy it. Though I do realize a lot of people don't. And it's not that popular, but I really do like it. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thank you for sharing your time with me. Smash that like button. Now, smash it one time, not twice. Just smash it once you like it. The second time you dislike the video, so just hit it one time. Now hit the subscribe button for me. Help us grow the channel. We're brand new. We're coming in, approaching 100 subscribers. So to everybody out there that's subscribed, thank you for your support. Without you, we couldn't do it. Thank you very much for being here. Folks, next week will be the third of our 4-part series. Please tune in next week so that we can talk about the next step in this process. Thank you very much. And as always, folks, until next time, fly safe.